I'm not wearing my Towson State sweatshirt in honor of Grant Udinski, who, by the way,
does
still
anyone
has
even
another
know where
credit
Towson
to go
State?
before
Isn't
he gets
Towson
his
State near
degree.
Baltimore too?
Yeah.
Where is Towson State? It's
It's
Baltimore.
in Maryland.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
What is this deal, man? So we got this guy from Maryland here today.
No, the guy he's from Pennsylvania.
Oh, another Bucks County guy?
Yeah, he went to the same high school as Mike Pettin.
Man, can't we find another high school?
We don't need one.
Doesn't Ignatius or Eds or
They just stuck with Pettin. That might have
Menor?
worked.
Give me a public school there too. We can't pull a coach from there.
Well, Coach Kyle's available.
How about Baltimore? Baltimore takes our
Hello,
team.
Coach.
They took what? Brian Billick. And now today we sit here, we find out why Jesse Minter didn't want to come here. What is it? What does Baltimore have other than us?
Can I make a comment about the Minter thing?
Yeah, go ahead. That's why you're here, Jeff.
It's a good idea.
Yeah.
He clearly chose the Ravens over the Browns.
Not shocked.
That said, completely understandable in his situation. He worked in Baltimore for 4 years. He knows them. They know him. That alone would be enough for him to take that job if he liked working for the Baltimore Ravens. That alone. And you don't even have to look at stability of the organization and the fact that he has Lamar Jackson at quarterback. Just the fact that he'd worked there for 4 years, and not that long ago. He'd only been gone for 5 years. So that alone, so I can't hold that against the Browns. Hey, I've got other opportunities out there, but Baltimore wants me, sold. I get that. That's nothing against the Browns. But it is a second coach who has turned down the second interview. And the other coach
but
who
if he
turned
knew
down
he
the
was
second
taking another
interview-
job, why? Who cares?
Well, yeah.
If he knew he was taking,
I'm
glad. Yeah,
you
I'm
can't
glad
hold
he
that
did.
against the Browns.
Yeah,
But Andy, here's the point of that: is this? There's no question I want the Ravens job over the Browns job. Okay, I think we all get that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, especially since he had been there before. Mike McDaniel just flat out chose not to interview a second time with the Browns because he's interviewing with the Bills today, according to reports. And he has a backup plan lined up, OC for the Chargers, just in case. But, Mike McDaniel clearly said thank you, but no. And he had worked here before.
Yeah,
That's
the McDaniel
okay too.
thing is.
That's okay too.
I think the McDaniel thing compared to the Minter thing are two different
without question.
things. Minter knew he had a chance to go back to a place where he had cut his teeth and had a great opportunity to do that. And I don't blame him. And I don't feel slighted in the least that Minter decided to go back to Baltimore. But the McDaniel thing stings just a little.
Well, he just
said, "I don't want to. I don't want to coach for you."
Right.
I don't know. Is that jilted?
No.
I mean, personally, I didn't care if they hired either one of these guys. I'm not going to lie. I want them to hire someone with some experience. Sorry, McDaniel has it, but
I like McDaniel. I think he's really smart. I think he's a smart guy. I think his offense is really good.
I just don't.
But he didn't want to be here, so that's
easy. You don't want to be here. You don't want us. We don't want you.
There you go. And he's allowed to feel that way, Andy.
I'm concerned about us going into panic mode. Like, and fans seem to. It's again. I said it yesterday too that we're so used to it on trade deadline day that you really want one of our teams to do something. Whether it's and it's more baseball, basketball, but when our teams don't do anything on trade deadline day, you're like, oh, why didn't we do anything? And then we get the obligatory. Well, sometimes doing nothing is just like making a trade. Or getting someone back from the IR is just like
Extras,
making a trade.
Baby, here you go.
So you find yourself in the same position. I'm just wondering, do you think the Browns are watching this thing slip by? I don't. And they still have more guys to interview. We know they do. I don't. The Rooney Rule is interesting at best. I love the fact that it exists. I just don't understand the rules and constraints that you have against it. And if someone chooses not to interview with you once you made a formal request, is that
and he accepted?
Should that go against the team? I don't.
As far as everybody knows on the record, the Browns haven't satisfied the Rooney Rule.
Right, on the record.
If that is the case, a situation might be awkward. If they invite a coach in for an interview. If that's the case, if they haven't satisfied it, it's awkward. Daryl was just, on the morning show here, and as he was walking out, he goes, maybe they interviewed a college coach, a minority candidate, and that would satisfy the Rooney Rule. Nobody has to publicize that.
Right.
It just needs to be filed with the NFL. So maybe they have and nobody knows, which is possible. If they haven't, Andy, and it becomes public that they're bringing in minority coaches for interviews, if I was one of those minority coaches, it might feel a little awkward. On the other hand, you could bring in a big part of the Rooney Rule was to give minority coaches, young coaches as well, an opportunity to go through the hiring process so that they're more prepared for it. Like Grant Udinski getting interviews. He doesn't satisfy the Rooney Rule, but this is a new thing for him, interviewing for head coaching jobs. And if he decides he doesn't want a job this time or he doesn't get hired, well, I would think he'd be better prepared down the road. And that's part of the Rooney Rule as well. So the Browns could bring in young minority coaches who might be a position coach and say, hey, we'd like to interview you for the head coaching job. But we also will be looking for coordinators if we don't hire you.
Well, we know for sure we're looking for an offensive coordinator.
Right, which exposes younger coaches to the whole hiring process. So until worst case scenario, it could be awkward. Maybe it's already been cleared up and taken care of. Who knows? I don't know that it hasn't been. We just know that publicly they haven't done that yet. They haven't satisfied the Rooney Rule. Does that make sense?
It absolutely makes sense. I also think that it could, especially knowing where you are here in Cleveland right now, knowing that you need an offensive coordinator. Let's just say you're an up-and-coming running back coach or wide receivers coach, and now you could be looking at
safeties coach.
Well,
if you hire Jim Schwartz, you're going to need a DC.
Yeah, I do think that. Worst case scenario, you're looking at trying to fulfill the coordinator positions. So I don't know. I hate to think that the process is slowed down, especially if you've been rejected, to take the interview. Like that should count. Hey, we requested, and then were rejected. And by the way, I think there's reasons to reject too, not just because of the franchise, but because you're saying, wait, you're interviewing me? Why? Not because I'm qualified? It's kind of goofy, and it's not. It just seems. You're right. Awkward. Doesn't make a hell of beans, or a hell of sense, or whatever you want to call it.
I know what you mean.
So again, do you think, as we sat here yesterday too, I'm not worried. I'm really not. I didn't really think Minter was coming, and I didn't have Minter up there on my list. I still wonder what they're thinking. You have a list?
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I have a list. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, I'm glad I could have one. I heard, Daryl's list this morning. I was like, okay, I get it. If they do decide to hire one of these young guys, Scheelhaase or Udinski, that they blow me away when they step up to the podium for the first time. Especially a guy who's 30. Like, I'm not age discrimination on this. I really, really, really hope that they hire someone that knows what they're doing, and that's really the end of it. I just don't trust handing the keys to a franchise.
That could be a guy of any age, though.
Yeah, I know. I'm not trying to belittle it. I'm concerned if they bring someone in that just doesn't see the entire picture.
Yeah, but you don't. It know
happens
that.
all the time.
I don't know that.
Yeah, that's why I want to be blown away when they show me.
Except I don't need rhetoric during a press conference. We're not going to know anything about this coach until they put a team on the field in the fall, whoever it is they hire. Seriously, rhetoric at a press conference doesn't mean much.
How did it do in Detroit? He fulfilled the expectation.
I was chatting with a buddy this morning, and I mentioned a couple of guys who got hired. We're going to go over this later. Just that the timing of the hires doesn't necessarily indicate whether the guy will be successful or not. And I mentioned Nick Sirianni was the last guy hired during his hiring cycle.
Right.
And my buddy said, "Do you remember his press conference?" And I said, "Actually, I don't." And he said he was atrocious. He was stumbling all over himself. He wasn't good. Didn't make any sense. Said it looked like he was scared out of his wits. Well, how'd that work out?
It worked out just fine, didn't
it? So I'm not worried about what the guy says. I want to see his team on the field.
Are you worried that the Browns are kind of watching this list get smaller and saying they may not be able to get the guy they want? I'm not panicking. I'm not there yet. I'll panic after the Super Bowl.